For the horse of Pharaoh went in with his chariots and with his horsemen into the sea, and the Lord brought again the waters of the sea upon them. But the children of Israel went on dry land in the midst of the sea. And Miriam the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances. And Miriam answered them, Sing ye to the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. So Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur, and they went 3 days in the wilderness, and found no water. And when they came to Marah, they could not drink of the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. Therefore the name of it was called Marah. And the people murmured against Moses, saying, What shall we drink? And he cried unto the Lord, and the Lord shewed him a tree, which when he had cast into the waters were made sweet. There he made for them a statute and an ordinance, and there he proved them, and said, If thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and wilt do that which is right in his sight, and wilt give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. And they came to Elim, where were 12 wells of water, and 70 palm trees, and they encamped there by the waters. Exodus 15, verse 19-27. Child of imagination, see now how the drama of Exodus mirrors the one you live each night and day. The children of Israel stand at the edge of the Red Sea, bitter waters that bar their way. Yet when faith knows I am He, the waters part and dry land appears beneath their feet. This is the victory of spirit over sense. Where doubt would drown you, believing assumes the miracle. Miriam's timbrel and dance are no mere celebration of history, but of vision. She sings, Sing ye to the I Am, for faith's triumph must be hailed within. The timbrel is your imagination sounding its note, the dance, your soul moving in the new state you assume. Without that inner song and step, the sea remains an obstacle. The journey to Marah is the testing ground. 3 days without water, you wander in the wilderness of thought, your unresolved longings, your murmurs against the presence within. Bitter are those waters of unfulfilled desire until you cast the tree your I Am into them. At that moment, the water turns sweet. Doubt transforms into assurance. Here you learn the law of statutes and ordinances, how right thinking, right feeling, obedience to the voice of spirit, rends the bitterness from every circumstance. I am the Lord that healeth thee, not some far-off power, but the same I Am you have dared to be. From Marah you press on to Elim, 12 wells, 70 palm trees. The 12 wells are your faculties brought to life by faith. The palms, the peace that springs from living in the consciousness of I Am. There you encamp by the waters, no longer wanderers but heirs of promise. Thus Moses leads Israel from bondage to abundance, not by outside rescue, but by the inner awareness of your own divine presence. Claim it, sleep in that state, and watch the sea of limitation roll back at your command. Imagine yourself crossing the sea of consciousness, moving out of fearful, limited thought and stepping onto the dry land of quiet faith. You find yourself in what the ancients called the wilderness of Shur, a place where the mind feels empty and unfilled, without the living stream of inner conviction. In this state, a deep thirst arises, giving birth to complaint and restlessness. Naturally, the psyche responds to such adversity with bitterness Marah, revealing the negative interpretation we impose on life's circumstances. Yet when you awaken faith within, this bitter scene gives way to Elim, where 12 wells and 70 palms stand as symbols of your restored, overflowing inner resource. Imagine that Moses' cry to the Lord is nothing other than your own deliberate turning inward to the single, universal consciousness, the I Am, that lives in every soul. From there, picture the tree as the idea or assumption you have planted in your mind. To cast it into the bitter water is simply to rest in the end result, to feel fully as if your wish is already fulfilled. In that moment, you witness the waters made sweet, a perfect reflection of how assumption transfigures your inner experience, changing every negative belief into a positive reality. And underlying it all are your statutes and ordinances, the inner laws you set in place: faith, right thinking, inward obedience, that quietly govern the unfolding of your world. You yourself command the waters of your experience by the assumption you hold. Secretly, you are he who conceived this entire drama. Once you dare to stand in that creative role, you transform any bitter source into sweet provision. You become both the planter and the harvester of your destiny. First, notice a present situation that feels bitter within your awareness, any experience of lack, fear, or doubt stirring in your mind. Then, gently invite an image of a tree that embodies your deepest desire, allowing yourself to sense its branches, leaves, and life. In the stillness that follows, cast this vision into the bitter waters of your mind, feeling the transformation as bitterness softens into sweetness. Anchor this new frequency with inward vows such as, "I am the wellspring of my healing," and "I am the boundless supply." Continue to live in that assumption as though it were already true, and observe how outer circumstances begin to mirror the sweetness you have stirred within your own Elim of 12 wells. By viewing Moses' wilderness journey as your personal imaginative pilgrimage, you learn that every apparent obstacle is actually a gateway to embracing your power to declare "I am He" and to reshape reality from within.